Guten Morgen, peeps, and today we are doing the HD280 Sennheiser. Many years ago, this is probably the headphone that I think it's the first headphone I modified was the HD280. And I videoed myself dismantling it probably 10 or 12 years ago before YouTube was really a thing. And the video quality is terrible, and these days I just get loads of people moaning about how terrible the lighting is on that video. So I thought I'd shoot a new one. Also, they've updated the HD280. I haven't seen the new one. It's not a model that we still work on very often. So yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see how it's made, but you will have to bear with me because, as I said, I haven't dismantled one of these for like 10 years. So it's gonna... there might be some surprises, I don't know. Right, so... yeah, I've got a bit of love for these. I used to DJ with these back in the day when everyone else had Sony V700s. The clamping force is great. They're really good at blocking out external noise. So good for DJ. Not normally used by DJs, but very good for DJing. It blocks out all the like if you're in a loud environment, it helps you save your hearing, which is hopefully why I can still hear. Alright, so yeah, so these are quite nice actually. They've updated the design. There's a few design cues I can see that they've taken. So the HD280 has a gap in there because it turns out there's a ridge over the top of your head, which is quite uncomfortable if you have anything pressing on it. So having the pads with a gap in the middle there makes these comfortable for long listening periods. They've smoothed off some of the edges, they've generally made them look a little bit sexier than they used to, which is good. They've still got quite a high clamping force, so they do squeeze onto your head quite hard. Okay, well that's the preamble over. Let's see if we can get into these bad boys. So I'm going to start off by removing the padding from the headband, and it looks like it's just a little clasp type arrangement. So if you can get one side off, ooh, there we go. And you should be able to peel it back. Getting it back on, it's not as hard as you might think. You just kind of press the two halves together and it goes back together. A bit like a Ziploc bag or something like that. Right, so we've got the padding off the headband. So again, you can buy those. I think we've got the old style padding in stock, so I might have to contact Sennheiser and see if we can get any of these new ones, because that's quite a good upgrade. Next we'll do the ear pads. So these have the swivel hinges, so you can do one ear monitoring, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're going to swivel that. The pads aren't that nice, but they are big and chunky and do block out a lot of noise, but they feel a little bit thin. So I'm just going to pull those off. So there you can see some foam, which they will have used to make it more comfortable and also tune the sound a little bit. It's got the dust filter built into this, so it doesn't, that comes away all in one go. So that's ear pad 1, ear pad 2. Right, I'm gonna remove the drivers next. I know that's normally an exciting part that you want to save till later, but you know, let's do this. So if you had a pair of these and you needed to change the cable, we will go through what you need to do for that, because I think that's the next bit. I'm saying all this with great confidence, like I know what I'm doing, but I don't know. These have probably changed since I last did them, and it's so long I can barely remember. But from what I remember, you've got two screws. One of these screws, I think the top one. Oh no, they have changed the design. Oh, ooh, let's have a look. Maybe the bottom screw releases this part, and then under there you've possibly got a socket for the cable. So you can change it without soldering, but we will see. Right, so let's try taking that screw out. Is that going to release this? Yep, there we go. So that screw releases this part here. And then under here, you've got the cable, which is in there. And I think you should be able to unplug it. So if you have a pair of these that you've broken, it's good. You can keep a spare socket and do kind of field repairs, you know, when you're, there we go. So that's the end there. So you've just got 4 pins on the end of the socket, so it's nice and easy. One screw, and you can replace the cable on the HD280. Really good really good for a professional headphone where you might be in real trouble if you break the cable. Yeah, so you can have a spare one, swap the cable out, super easy, which is good. You've got a little bit of cable management in here, so that just pops in there. And this little circuit board basically connects the cable to the two drivers, which are in there. We're not going to get into that yet. We're going to open up the other side and desolder the driver. Okay, so I'm going to remove this screw. Oh, nearly forgot. As with anything, I say this on every video, put your screws back in the holes where they came from. That way you won't lose them. Okay, so we're going to undo this one. So quite long screws, as you can see. So it's interesting. Again, a lot of these parts would have been designed many years ago. And they just have minor updates. So again, I don't know if you can see, there's the cable routing through there, which connects that little circuit board. So I'm just going to remove that. And I'm going to desolder the driver. So I think, just checking if these are marked before I pull it off. They are probably not. So let me just get a pen. Just marking the negative one so I can remember which is which when I come to put it back together. Alright, so that's the driver desoldered. Just looking at the driver, and I was wondering if maybe it was the same as the HD25, but it's not. It does look quite different to that. Let's see if I've got. So I've got a dead HD25 driver here. Let's open this up. Yeah, so you can see the driver part is it's a bit smaller. Let's pop this out and have a look underneath. So no, this is terrible, but yeah, so there you go. You can see there's the HD25 driver, there's the HD280 driver. So you have got a bigger driver on that and a bigger ear cup, which is good. But yeah, I thought they might share parts, but because they have a very similar sound signature. So again, you've got your positive and negative, which we were just using there. You've also got these other terminals, which are used for looping through cables. So this driver is probably used on another model. I don't know which model that is, but in the other model, I'll probably use these other pads. So this part here is made of ABS. You've got quite a large magnet in the center there, which is probably what gives them their punch. And then a clear plastic surround. You've got paper on the back here, which is used to tune the amount of air going back through. And again, some kind of dust cover on the front, and underneath there you'll have like a mylar diaphragm. You can see a little hologram sticker there. That just shows you that you've got the real deal. So yeah, it's quite interesting. So these are ABS, whereas the HD25s are made from nylon. So it's a different material. But I haven't actually seen any of these break, so I don't think it makes that much difference. But yeah, it's just interesting that Sennheiser, I would have thought they'd use all the same material in the machines. That part is also ABS. It looks like most parts of the HD280 are ABS. I think it is cheaper to make ABS because the glass reinforcement that they use in the nylon wears the mold down a little, wears the tooling down. So you have to change the tooling more often, which makes it more expensive. Okay, so I've just fed the little circuit board back through, and next we're going to remove the ear cup. So we want to put that at 90 degrees to the yoke, and then click. There we go. So that's that part removed there, and then I'm just going to rinse and repeat on the other side, so you know how we do. Alright, so we're going to just undo the screws. Remove the driver, move the cable out, mark my negative, Yeah, getting a Sharpie or something would have been a better idea, but a biro was all I had to hand. But, you know, as long as it makes a mark. Okay, I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, when you're removing wires from a driver, the easiest thing to do is put a little bit of tension on it and then just touch it with a soldering iron. As soon as it melts, the wire will pull away. It's going to make your life easier. Alright, so that's the other driver. And remove that doohickey. That's that. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I used to be able to do this blindfold. Now it's distant memory. Yeah, I think we might do something cool with these and give them away, as this is where it kind of all got started with custom cans. The first thing I did was buy 5 pairs of these because I didn't have much money at the time and I really wanted a decent pair of headphones to DJ with. And I thought if I bought 5 of them, customized 4 of them and sold them, I could make the money back and it would pay for I'd essentially get a free pair. As it turned out, that didn't work out. People weren't ready to buy customized headphones at the time. I lost money, but you know, I kept I saw there was some kind of potential there, kept going, and now it's a thing. Sort of 11, 12 years later, we're still painting headphones, just not the HD280. Right, so next I'm going to start putting the headband apart, and I'm going to start with this panel in here. They've moved to a T6 screw, which is good. That seems quite a popular one for German headphones for some reason. The Beyerdynamics and the Sennheisers, like a T6 screwdriver seems to be the tool you need to undo most of them. Let's pull those out. Again, quite long screws, longer than they use on like the Pioneer headphones and stuff. How do you do this? Let's have a look. I think there's some kind of trick to it, but I can't remember what that trick is. Yeah. Nope. Oh, this is probably great viewing. There we go. Right, so I've removed that screw, and then I can slide this part down the arm. That will release this, and that's off. I do like to put my screws back where I found them straight away, but it's going to be better to dismantle this. Right, so then once you've got that slid down here and taken that piece off, you can then slide this piece further up. That's that way, and that should release the next layer. So I'm going to undo this screw in here. Yeah, there used to be more screws in these, do you remember, on the older models? So, what do I do now? Is it the same trick again where something slides? No. Oh, there's the screws. There we go. So there's 2 more screws under there. Let's get those out. Perhaps it was just my memory. I remembered there being more screws, but I couldn't remember where they were. Right, there we go. Now it's just falling apart. Okay, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to route the cable. You can see there's little channels along here, and there's a rubber stopper. I think that comes out. Come on, you bugger. Alright, yeah, that's glued in. Come on. Oh, there we go. Is it hot glue? Can I warm that up and make it easier? Nope, just normal glue. Okay, So yeah, so there's a little rubber doodad in there which stops the yoke from hitting the thing so hard, which is nice. Probably also protects your, oh no it doesn't, yeah, I think that's there to make it more comfortable against the side of your head if that hits the side of your head. Right, so now we've got that, we can unpick the cable from this little channel down to here, remove that cover, remove a cable from there, so that's that part. And then you can see there's a little, on the spring steel headband there, there's little doohickeys which stop that from coming undone. You can also see a little leaf spring there, which means that there's a ball bearing underneath there, which again is very good because it means the clicky mechanism will stay as clicky for a long time, but it does mean that it's going to try and explode when we remove it. So this isn't going to be fun. Oh yeah, so just remove a bit more of the cable routing. There we go, so that's the headband cable free from that part. I'm going to press those down, and hopefully that's going to give up that. There's the little ball bearing. Might use a flathead screwdriver just to release those springs, clips. Come on. Come on. Ooh, that's definitely the hardest part so far, getting that bit off. Okay, and then once that's off, then you can get the first part we took off the headband will come free. And again, as best practice, I'm going to put my screws back where I found them. Oh, hang on a minute, that's a different screw. Dun dun dun. Where do they come from? In here. No, you see, I've lost a screw already. Or have I? No, I haven't. Right, there's one more screw point. Into here. Right, there we go. So that's, you know what you're doing now. This is pretty much it. Right, so that's the little leaf spring. That's the little ball bearing. Okay, well we're most of the way there, so we might as well carry on and remove the rest of the headband. Yeah, so tricky parts are getting this little rubber stopper off and unclipping the clicky mechanism. Right, so I'm just going to unroot that. For this one, we are going to have to unsolder the wire off this little circuit board. Because otherwise I can't feed it through the headband. So I'm just going to warm up the soldering iron while I undo the rest of these screws. See if I can get this a bit cleaner this time. Less fumbling. Okay, so that's that. That's this one. I don't necessarily know why you'd need to pull apart the headband, but you know, might as well while we're in there. If I was, you know, if we were customizing this, obviously we'd have to strip all this down so that we can paint it nicely, and then when we put it back together, it looks legit. If you've got any ideas for how we should paint this up as a little celebration of over a decade of doing this, stick them in the comments, and I will certainly consider it. But yeah, might be a couple of weeks before I get around to doing these because we're quite busy at the moment. Okay, right. that. That's that. That's that piece. Run the cable through this little hole. Oh yeah, I have to unsolder that, don't I? Right, soldering iron. So again, a little bit of pressure on the cable so that when the solder melts, the wire comes away. I think you need about 350 degrees. You see I've bridged that connection. I'll have to fix that before I carry on. I think you need about 350 degrees to melt this solder. Our soldering irons are normally set to about 450 because we use silver solder, so I don't want to hold the soldering iron on there too long, but I'm also too lazy to adjust the soldering iron. Right, so that's the little circuit board that connects to the drivers. Pull that through there. Oh yeah, this bit that I hate. Right, so we're going to release the little ball bearing. Ball bearing and spring. Yeah, these are the bits that you're going to lose if you ever try this operation, so make sure you bag those up as soon as you can. And also getting them back in. Oh, I cannot recommend doing this. Yeah, leave the headband in one piece, because getting those little springs and ball bearings back in the place they're supposed to be is not a fun job. Also, this bit seems a bit harder than it used to be. What I do is just flatten those down and then bend them back when I've finished. Nope, they're too springy to do that. I'll just have to struggle. There we go. Oh, it came out. Right, okay, so there's that part. There's that part. And then the headband cable itself goes underneath this foam pad inside. Is that going to come away nicely? There we go. So that's held on with double-sided tape. There we go. So that's the headband cable there. And the bit of rubber. This part is over molded onto there. So you've got spring steel with rubber molded onto it. So that would go into the actual tool. Then they'd squirt in the rubber and wait for that to harden. So you can't pull that part apart, but you know, why would you need to? It's not going to break. What else have we got? Is this all? Oh, that's POM, that part. This is PA6 nylon with 30% glass reinforcement. So that's the same stuff they make the HD280s out of. So it's quite interesting that those bits are glass fiber reinforced. These bits are ABS. What's this bit? Is this going to be... This feels, I don't know, does that say? That's POM as well. So you've got 3 different materials in there. So when you need to recycle it, that all needs separating out. There we go. I think that's it. So that's how you fully dismantle the Sennheiser HD280. This time I have proper lighting. I don't have annoying music, so hopefully people aren't going to moan as much. But, there you go. Yeah, hopefully I've got a few more pairs. We got possibly got some Grados coming in for modification, and I've got some Newman headphones as well, which I've been meaning to pull apart for a while, but they look a bit complicated, so I've been putting it off. But anyway, yeah, so more headphones to come. But if there's anything in particular, especially Sennheiser or Beyerdynamic, ask in the comments, and I'll see if we can find one and pull it apart. Okay, all right, cheers, bye.